What's in a question? Maybe just about everything important. A smart and sharp question should strike up the most engaging of conversations. So let's have ourselves a little discussion here. Diane joins us in the studio. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. Happy Friday. It's finally Friday.
Yes, a good happy Friday to you.
Yes.
Looking forward to the weekend.
Right.
How was your hike yesterday?
It was really good.
The weather's fantastic.
The weather was really, really nice. I went to Inangsan Mountain. If you go up there, you could see the whole entire Seoul. It's really nice.
The air was really clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure you had a fantastic
Right, it was
hike
really
and
good.
view.
Mm-hmm.
Any plans for a big hike over the weekend?
Probably no. I
No?
think once a week is good.
Okay.
That's enough. What about you? What are you doing?
I'm taking a little personal trip out to Incheon over the
Ooh,
weekend.
nice.
Yes. Today's topic, let's
Right.
get the question out to the listeners here.
So, question, why shouldn't you eat alone? The number of people living alone in South Korea is growing in the fastest pace, and naturally, more and more people are eating alone. There's even a text for that called 혼밥러. Some people love having their meal because of convenience and other reasons like Juan, but those people who do love eating alone should carefully listen to today's segment.
I'm definitely a 혼밥러.
Yes, you're pro 혼밥러, right?
Professional. Do it probably once a day,
Right.
sometimes twice a day. And I actually enjoy my time eating alone.
Right. So that's good. If you enjoy, I guess that's good. But then you might not notice that you're missing something while you're eating.
But obviously, the number of 혼밥러, the 혼밥러 culture here in Korea, the reason why it's expanding is because the number of people living alone is
Right.
also growing.
Right. So simple as that. Number of people living alone is growing. Therefore, the number of people eating alone is growing. According to Statistics Korea, the number of single-person households in Korea stood at 7.2 million as the end of last year, exceeding 7 million for the first time in history. This is about 2 times higher than the traditional family type of household with 4 or more members. Single-person households accounted for about 33% of the total, an increase of 5.5 percentage points from 5 years ago, while households with 4 or more members decreased by 5.7 percentage points to below 19%. And according to the future household projection data, it's estimated that the number of single-person households will continue to increase in the future, reaching over 8 million in 2030 and 9 million in 2040. On the other hand, the number of households with 4 or more members is expected to decrease to 2.4 million, and the gap with single-person households is expected to quadruple. And among the total single-person households, those in their 20s accounted for the largest share at 19%, followed by those in their 30s, including myself, and those in their 60s.
Right. And I think this also is a reflection of the changing culture.
Right.
Where in the maybe about a decade or 2 decades ago, people didn't move out of their parents' house until they got married.
Right.
But now a lot of young professionals and young people in general, they want to be a little bit more independent.
Right.
I guess more of a Western model of their life. They don't want to live with their parents while they're pursuing their new careers
Right.
out of college or wherever they're at. So that's increasing the number of single households, as you say.
Right.
And they're all affected, right? If the kids are moving out of the house, then the number of
Parents living by themselves.
and then the 4-person households
Right.
are gonna decrease, right?
Right,
The
right,
average
right.
nuclear households.
Yes. So therefore, the people eating alone are increasing. Looking at the number of meals by number of people eating together based on the big data about dining habits, Korean consumers eat about 4 out of 10 meals alone on the average, showing that 혼밥, eating alone, is the most prevalent situation here. Also, the number of meals eaten alone is high in all life stages. In particular, 1 or 2-person households eat 4.8 meals alone on average, which is about half of all meals. Also, in senior households, they eat 4.4 meals on average by themselves, showing a relatively high frequency of 혼밥.
And the 혼밥 culture, it's affecting the way even restaurant operators are designing their restaurants or even the business model in general.
Its model in general is changing. The rise in hombap has not only eased some pressure from social taboos, but has even changed the physical atmosphere in restaurants and affected food consumption in general. More and more restaurants are also providing their wider single menu options for people eating alone, going beyond the burger and fries. Ooh, we had some music background there.
Yeah.
I got right. So homba. So people in need of more substantial meals before heading back to their busy lives. Homba-friendly restaurants have also been popping up all over Seoul. Meals which were once excluded to communal eating, such as hot pot and Korean barbecue, have been scaled down and made available to the solo dinner. And as we talked before, there's even like a hombap challenge where there's stages from beginner to the pro stage.
So, I mean, we talk about the restaurant design. Now you see a lot of these single booths that are being placed in restaurants. We were talking about this yesterday in our staff meeting. You know, what would be some meals that would be really awkward
and difficult
to eat by ourselves? So obviously, you know, the ones that are popular with hombap is, you know, ramyeon,
kimbap,
tteokbap, things like that. But then we said, could you go to like a meat house, like a
Korean barbecue,
get a whole table of spread, and then sit there by yourself, grill the meat, and eat it by yourself.
Flipping the meat and eating by yourself.
When we said that might be a little difficult.
Right, that's I think the top chart.
But you're saying that the menus have been actually shrunk down for people who actually want to do that.
Yeah, for even the barbecue place, there's even a solo menu for a single person to dine in. But then we're not really used to eating barbecue by ourselves, but we're getting there.
And this is a recent trend.
Right.
Because maybe 10, 15 years ago, people who were eating out alone, they would kind of get stares or maybe some uncomfortable looks.
Right.
But now it's really common. When I go out and eat by myself, I just feel totally comfortable.
Right, we're getting used to eating alone, but just a few years ago, sitting down to a quiet meal by yourself in South Korea can solicit curious stares and looks of pity and judgment from those around you. In a country where people go to great length to maintain an intricate web of relationship and invest heavily in social capital, such an act could be akin to like a social suicide. It's not that Koreans are inherently afraid of doing things alone. The taboo comes from the fear of being perceived as outcast by their peers, thus damaging their reputation. There's this public notion about dining alone that would have people think there's something wrong with your social life. Now, however, solo dining has hit its renaissance, hence getting its own name called hombap.
Yes. I think it also comes like, you know, when you're in high school or junior high and you go to the school cafeteria, you don't want to be the kid
who eats alone,
seen eating alone.
Right.
And then that kind of goes on to affect your
adulthood,
your social behaviors in adulthood.
You're not really used to eating alone because you're used to eating with your friends during your childhood.
Yeah, absolutely. But okay, so let's jump to your point here.
Right, today's point.
Why you shouldn't eat alone, you're saying.
So a recent study found that eating with loved ones, such as family or friends, is better for mental health than eating alone. Experts say that eating with someone you can relate to can help reduce stress and boost self-esteem and social relationship. The study was published in the American Heart Association after surveying and studying 1,000 U.S. adults. And according to the association, relieving stress is crucial as chronic constant stress can increase lifetime risk of heart disease and stroke. Connecting with families, friends, coworkers, and neighbors benefits people beyond stress relief as well. In fact, the survey found 67% of people say sharing a meal with friends reminds them of the importance of connecting with other people, and 54% say it reminds them to slow down and take a break from their busy lives.
So are there other tangential effects, like eating together maybe causes them to eat a little bit slower?
Right.
Or eat a little bit less because you have to share the food.
or eat more.
Possibly.
Right.
Or maybe choose a healthier option.
Right.
Because a lot of the single serving foods tend to be instant food or of the bit of the unhealthier variety.
Right. According to another research done by CJ, reasons for menu selection vary depending on the number of people eating together. What's taken into consideration if you're eating alone most often during menu selection in general is simplicity and familiarity. So they tried to ask questions to the people like, what do you eat when you're eating alone? And they try to eat a simpler meal when eating alone. So people just go for simple foods like broiled eggs, rice with dry seaweed, or ramen. And a lot of people enjoy delicious meal together with others rather than alone. Those surveys, they say they are more likely, about 60% of them, to make healthier food choices when eating with other people, but have difficulty aligning schedules with their friends or family to do so. So take for you, Juwon, for example, do you see the difference between the menu when you're eating alone and when you're eating with your family and friends?
Yeah, options are limited for sure. Just because I tend to go somewhere near my office, and the options of food that are available, that's okay for me to go and have a quick bite by myself, versus the options that I would have to have a sit-down meal with some other people. So, yeah, you are limited. And I think menu choice is a big thing.
Right, of course. Many choices. So that's another advantage, which is crucial for me, a chance to explore different foods. For me, I always go for food that I've tried before, than I know the taste of. So the menu is very limited. So eating together can make you try the food that can change all your perception and mindsets that you created being reluctant to it. It works as a support system for encouragement. You never know what you would like. It gives you the element of surprise on what you were missing out on. Experimenting with your food will not only provide you with numerous nutrients, but will save you from boredom to eat the same type of food every other day. We often forget how important it can be for everyone to eat together. No matter how much we want to isolate ourselves, we are social beings at the end of the day. Sharing meals holds a greater value than we can imagine. Food is not a fuel for our body, but also acts as a bridge in our relationship, culture, and our mental well-being.
So I think the biggest benefit is just the social aspect.
Right, of course, yeah.
Being able to socialize, take a little bit break, de-stress. But if the meal with others itself, like say you're in a company setting and you really get stressed eating with your boss or your coworker, then choose the better route for yourself. You know, if eating by yourself causes less stress, then choose that route.
Right, exactly. Peter also mentioned it of what if the person that you're dining out with is very stressful for you, then of course, if that's the case, you might want to just dine alone.
Or you can never
better.
agree on a menu.
Right.
Or they're picky eaters.
Right.
All right. So anyways, thank you for the interesting story.
Right.
And we'll speak to you again next week.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.